So I'm sure all you guys have seen it by now, Steph Curry. He thinks he's the greatest point guard in NBA history, and he broke the internet by saying so. And look, I am Team Magic all day, every day. Magic Johnson is my GOAT point guard. And one guy who feels the exact same way as I do is Michael Jordan. As according to Stephen A. Smith, consider the source, Stephen A. Smith says Michael Jordan texted him at 5:54 a.m. that Magic is the greatest point guard and Steph Curry is the greatest shooter. And look, calling Steph Curry the second best point guard of all time, it's not disrespect in the slightest. As Magic for a point guard his career, the 12 years he played, it's as close as you get to perfection for a point guard's resume. And what my overall goal of this video is to once again show you guys why Magic is such a great player and the greatest point guard in NBA history. And look, everyone knows Magic was the best passer of the basketball of all time. Watch the highlights, watch the games, it's pretty self-evident. But I don't think many fans, many NBA players, notice how good Magic was stats-wise. As when it comes to the NBA playoffs, for a single postseason, Magic has the top 4 highest assist totals in NBA history, including 6 of the top 10. And looking at assist average once again, for a single playoff run, Magic has 6 out of the top 10 with the top 2 finishes. This is a classic case of the stats confirming the eye test. And some numbers Magic put up in his prime, they're just really, I don't even know how you can comprehend them in 2023. As an 85, he averaged 21.6 points and 15.1 assists. In NBA playoff history, Magic still is the only player ever to average 20 and 15 for at least 10 games in the playoffs. And that year for LA, he led his team in assists, rebounds, steals, was second in scoring, shooting 53.7% from the field. And looking at the 1980s era, when it came to Magic's big-time rival, that being Larry Bird and the Celtics, he got the best of him more times than not, as in the finals, hit a 2-1 series record, and in games played, was 11-8. And comparing Bird vs. Magic head-to-head, Magic outplayed Bird in totality, averaging 21 points, 14 assists, 8 boards, with 2 steals on better shooting from the field. Magic Johnson not only beat the Celtics more often, but compared to Larry Bird, outplayed him for the majority of their series. Now, contrasting that with Steph Curry, the guy he played in his era, who's his quote-unquote rival, was LeBron James. Now, the difference between these two players is that Steph Curry, yes, he beat LeBron like Magic beat Bird, but not once did Curry outplay LeBron in a single series. And looking at the head-to-head averages, it really is comical, as LeBron James averaged more points, assists, boards, blocks, and shot better from the field. And if you really want to get critical about it, the Boston teams Magic played in the finals were far superior than LeBron's teams on the Cavaliers, as in 84 Boston won 62 games, 85-63, and 87-59. Compared to LeBron's Cavs teams, who they were really good, but they weren't all-time great, as in 2015, they barely cracked 50 wins in the finals, had no Kyrie or Kevin Love. 2016, 57 wins, of course Curry lost that series with a 3-1 lead. 2017, only 51 wins, KD won MVP, and then 2018, 50 wins, with the worst final supporting cast possibly imaginable. Comparing finals opponents, Bird Celtics, LeBron's Cavs. Yeah, LeBron was the better overall player, but those Boston teams were far superior. And I can't think of a single final series where Steph Curry was as good as Magic in 87. As for that series, he averaged 26.2 points, the most in the series, 13 assists, top 5 in finals history, 8 boards, 2 steals, on 54% shooting. For his Lakers team, he was a leader in every category except blocks, and Kareem was 39 years old. On that Boston team, you had 4 Hall of Famers, not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4, and Danny Ainge, who was an all-star. And going one step further, looking past the 87 Celtics, look at the 83 Sixers and how stacked that team was when Magic played them in the finals, as they had Moses, Dr. J, Mo Cheeks, Bobby Jones, 4 Hall of Famers, and Andrew Toney, who was an all-star. The 88 Pistons had Isaiah Thomas, Dumars, Adrian Dantley, Dennis Rodman, again 4 Hall of Famers, and Lambeer, who was an all-star. Even 91 versus the Bulls, you were playing Michael Jordan at his peak, Pippen at his peak, and Horace Grant, who was a borderline all-star player. Winning 5 championships in that era versus that stacked talent, and making 8 finals in 10 years, is simply remarkable for Magic's resume. Now, like I said earlier, comparing the 80s till now, the way basketball plays stylistically, the way coaches coach, is just so much different. And when it comes to three-point shot, Steph's biggest weapon, of course, he's the best ever at that specific aspect. And when it comes to Magic, his first year in the NBA was the first year of the three-point line. Meaning Magic in high school, college, middle school, he wasn't growing up shooting threes. And it wasn't until the late 80s, around 88, 87, where teams actually shot threes and really valued that shot. And when it came to Magic early in his career, he was a pretty good shooter. As in the free throw line, he shot 80.1% his first 6 years. But over the next 6 years, would drastically improve, shooting 88.1%. That right there shows Magic from 1980 to 91 improved drastically as an outside shooter and a shooter in general. And when it came to three-point shooting Magic, for the most of his career, he took like 0.3, 0.5, not even 1 3. And it wasn't until 88 where he barely cracked 1 3 per game. And what many fans forget is severely overlooked is that the next year in 89 Magic finally took over 3 threes per game. What happened when Magic finally shot threes? He averaged 22.3 points per game, the most in LA, 11.5 assists, second in the NBA, 6.6 boards on 48-38 and 89 splits. That year Magic from 3 shot 38.4%, and when he chose to shoot it was a near 50-40-90 player. And what nobody ever talks about, no one's ever told you, is that Magic that year ranked 5th in made threes. And for the entire NBA, there are only 6 players who had 100 makes from deep. Among those 6 players, Magic ranked 4th in percentage, meaning the GOAT point guard, when he shot threes for his era, was a top 5 shooter up there with Reggie, as well as Mark Price. I'm not saying Magic Johnson would have been a top 10 shooter in a different era. I'm not saying that. But what I am saying, looking at his shooting stats, they're a little misleading given his era and the novelty of the three-point shot. Now, looking past shooting threes, one more thing I do want to hammer home is Magic's competition in a couple of his championships. And looking at his first championship in his rookie year, the comp he played was pretty all-time great. As in the West, he put the 55-win Suns and the 56-win Sonics en route to the finals, playing Philadelphia, who won 59 games. Those 3 teams LA played in the playoffs had a combined win percentage of 69.1%. In NBA history ranking championships, off opponents' win percentage, this Lakers championship ranks second all time by the 95 Rockets. And by beating 3 55-win teams, they're one of 4 teams ever to do so en route to a championship. The other 3 are the 95 Rockets, 97 Bulls, and 2011 Dallas Mavericks. And looking at the 85 Lakers, one of their more impressive championship runs, based off opponents' win percentage, it's higher than 91 Bulls, 2013 Heat, and 86 Celtics. And to kind of go full circle with this video, the guy who instigated this whole debate of Steph versus Magic, of course, was Gilbert Arenas. And as you guys know, Gilbert likes to push the envelope day by day, month by month. And he said with a straight face, LeBron James, yes, LeBron James, is a greater point guard than Magic. What was his logic, his reasoning for having that statement? is that LeBron James led his team in assists every year he's played. So yeah, LeBron leading his team in assists every single year, pretty cool stat. But guys like Stockton, Jason Kidd, Magic, for the majority of their careers, also did that. And those guys, unlike LeBron James, they weren't just leading their team in assists, they were leading the entire NBA in that category. As John Stockton 9 times led the NBA in assists, Chris Paul 5 times, Steve Nash 5 times, Kidd 5 times, and Magic 4 times. If you want to say LeBron James' overall career is greater than Magic, go ahead and say that. But for the point guard position, what a point guard does, never say LeBron James is a better point guard than Magic. This week's been pretty crazy debating Magic Johnson, his legacy being on a full court press. It's been pretty unprecedented. And for someone who's a big Magic Johnson fan, seeing fans nowadays say Magic isn't the greatest point guard, it's a little disheartening. As Steph Curry, of course, is a great player, highly skilled player, but compared to Magic, didn't have a greater career, in my opinion, wasn't the better overall player. As always, thank you guys for watching, hope you enjoyed it. I'll see you next time.